Hi, hi, hi. Good day to you. Welcome to the chat. How are you doing? My name is Eva. Yes, and I nailed it. I've been practicing this. I said, let me not come and say this is newspaper review. And I nailed it. Hello, how are you doing? It's good to have you on this broadcast. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the chat. I told you today we are bringing out our dining table. And we only bring out that dining table when it is time to have some conversation, that has to do with the family unit. So welcome. Please let them know that we are on live here. This is a good time to pause to let somebody know that it's time for us to have that conversation. Yes, please, if you're just joining us, do also like this broadcast, share, and invite someone onto the broadcast. A big welcome to each and every one of you on here. Thank you for being here, Mommy Diaspora. Mwah! Thank you for being here, Mama Dearest. It's always a delight to know that you will be here. And to each and every one of you, please say something so I know where I am sending my special greetings to. All right, a big thank you. Thank you. Yes, dearest Mama. A big thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you for coming back on here. Thank you. If you are yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, please take out time to do so. If you are yet to turn on your notification bell, please take out time to do so. Mr. Makirabo, greetings to you, Oga. It's good to have you on here. Thank you. How are you? I hope your day is going just fine. Thank you very much. And to my amazing panelists, please, just before you get on here, do well to like this broadcast. Yes, and to each and every one of you, please do also like this broadcast too. Thank you very much. But please take out time to like this broadcast. To each and every one of you watching, thank you very much. Okay, so today we said we'll be talking about family. Yes, family. We'll be talking about family. Bella Naomi, welcome to the broadcast. Yes, greetings to you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to the broadcast. Welcome. All right. Welcome each and every one of you. Welcome. Welcome. Okay. Let's see what story we have here first. Now we have the story, and this is by Dr. Ola Sandra Ndukwe, and she says here. So I once had a patient some months back that required urgent imaging for a sudden inability to walk. The cost of this was 90,000 naira. For him to be able to walk again, he needs this imaging. He messaged the son based abroad, who neither acknowledged the text nor called. 1 week into admission, no response. 2 weeks, same. For a man that was working a day prior to this, he needed urgent intervention. 2 weeks into admission, no response from the child, not even a text. We had to discharge him because we couldn't do anything. We couldn't do anything much for him. On the day of discharge, he broke down in tears and said he went through hell training his child, sent this child for masters abroad, paid through his nose, did same to enable him leave this country after masters. Okay, the story continues. So what wrong did he do as a father? Guys, this man was crying like a baby. I couldn't stand the agony, the hurt. He said, I am not crying because he couldn't send funds, but refused to at least call to check up on him. How did he become an enemy to his own child? We tried to pacify him. He insisted the child is doing well abroad, evidenced by his or our lifestyle. And he recently relocated his whole family to the US. I don't know what to say, but please take care of your parents. Many of them sacrifice everything for us to be better. P.S. The information I have is only from the father. If there is more to it, I have no idea. But one should let his parents remain in. Shouldn't let his relative or parents remain in such condition. He or she can help salvage it. My only concern is the man's health. Thank you. Now, this was posted by a doctor who had an encounter with a patient, and that's the story so far. The man could walk, and all of a sudden he couldn't walk anymore, and he needed to go for imaging. Everything, the treatment, everything was supposed to be a compound package of 90,000 naira. That's what it was supposed to be. But nobody, there was the child sent a message to the child. Apparently, he has just one child. Sent a message to the child, and the child did not even acknowledge, as much as acknowledge that message, and that brought the man down. For 2 weeks the man was at the hospital, and I can't imagine how, how either when we are sick or we feel sad, cheated, when we feel really hurt and we are in that place. Trust me, I know that we are grateful that we have people that we spend or we share such moments with. And being in a place of grief and not having anybody by your side, it's just, it's more painful. The thought of being alone, the thought of dying alone, or the thought of going through things alone without having people sympathize with you, just doubles the pain. And this is an aged man who has lived, I mean, some of us, yes, I'll say some of us, have had parents who, now this is home and abroad, we've had parents who have had to, you know give it all for us. They've had to do all sorts for us, mental jobs for us. They've had to deny themselves or deprive themselves of things to see to it that we go to school. There are some who are married, or whose father is married to more than one wife, and we know how, we used to see, or we know how the fathers will go all out or snake to see to it that he pays the school fees of some of us. I mean, so you hear all of these stories and you wonder how someone does not swear to take care of his parents. You walk on the road and you see old people. Sometimes you want to cross the road, you see really old people, you just have to help them. Or you see these really old people, they are like taxi drivers. I'm talking about really old people. And of course nobody likes to enter their taxi because they just, all they do is they just nag and nag and nag and nag. But if you look at the other side, at this age you shouldn't still be working. Where are your children? You have this very old people, who goes to sweep people's compound. I don't know if there is a name that they are called, but there are people who goes to sweep people's compound. If you're familiar with that, these are people's parents. These are people's parents, and you get to see years later, or you get to see still them, they are still doing the same work. And you wonder, at this point you should be resting. Your kids are supposed to be taking care of you. Okay, Mark Iravo, Mr. Mark says we can't judge till we hear from the son. Is there supposed to be a thing that should come between a child and the parent that would make the child say, I'm cutting off from you, down to when the father was sick? That's when the father was sick. And there is, I don't know why that is so. I don't know if it is also a global thing, but our parents sort of, they have children, they nurse the children. It's just like our parents, they get us as a retirement plan. Or maybe it is a global thing. Then let's have this conversation. Maybe it is a global thing. Parents having children as a means of retirement, so that when they are old, they have children who will take care of them. So when you are younger and they being the parents, they will do everything possible so that you go to school. At the end of the day, they are not just doing it for themselves, they are also doing it so that you will be able to take care of them. They will have comfortable house, they will have cars, the things that they couldn't attain themselves, but they see that their friends attain it. So they'll do everything possible that their children can do it for them. Now, I'm not saying this is my submission. I'm saying regarding things like this, what are we going to attribute it to? So where do parents go wrong? And now this is another conversation. because we are talking about this small family unit that transverses into the society at large. Everyone comes from a family. So if the society is filled with so much filth and deceptiveness and smartness and wickedness of man, how did it where's the family getting it wrong? Today we read in the papers an intending lawmaker representing Kogi State House of Assembly under the political party of NNPP. I'm sure that's the same party as Kwakwaso, Kogi State, NNPP. He defrauded the bank like he's a big time hacker, he's a big time fraudster. He defrauded the bank of 326 million naira. Then there are two reports, one of 140, and there is also another report of $610,000 cash. He was arrested with all that cash. Now this is somebody that would have gone for election. Who knows? This is Nigeria. He could still go for election. I mean, this is Nigeria. This is somebody who would become a lawmaker. Then this even questions the other lawmakers that we have, the political leaders that we have. This questions a lot. But then it goes back to the family. How do we miss it as a family? Where do we go wrong? Brother Nice, welcome to this conversation. Thank you for being here. All right, Mr.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, Brother Nice, I can hear you. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm fine. And you? Where the message is coming from? Is it your end?
Okay, I'll just put my mic on mute.
Okay. This conversation. Where am I going to? Where do you want me to start from?
All right. We just took out I just read out a message of a son that abandoned his father while he was sick. It was an emergency, and he was in the hospital for 2 weeks. Nothing could be done because there was no money. But the father broke down, and okay, now the conversation is, where do parents go wrong in training children? Using that instance, and there are lots of instances. Of course, before I bring one story, I have to be sure that this has happened severally to several people. And lots of people earlier on were the likes of Two Ninja and I can't remember. I think Jacob D was saying this morning that a lot of family members are very selfish. So when you do so much for people, and at some point you just they try to outsmart you, and at some point you just say that's enough, that you're not having anything anymore to do with people like this. But when it comes to parents, we're talking about people who go all out to see to it that they train us to become the people that we are. Should anything come between us, with our parents, with our fathers and our mothers, with the people that we know that they have paid the price to push us to become the people that we are today, should anything come between us to make us abandon these people at such a time?
Yeah, thank you, Miss Ima. First of all, let me say greeting to my father here, Mr. Kennedy. Greetings to you, sir. Greetings to the panelists and the people on the comment section. To all Niger family, Niger Watch family all over the world. Yeah, this conversation, this topic is making me to be scared of old age, Miss Ima. It's just that there's no way you will escape old age. Is
it the topic that is making you to be scared of old age, of this generation, and the way the things that this generation are capable of doing? Is that not truly what is making you scared of old age?
Yeah, both the generation and both the topic is making me to be scared of old age. I'm telling you, because if I see the way some people are treating their parents, sometimes I put myself in the shoe of those parents. So that tomorrow now maybe I will have a responsible child. This is how he will treat me as well. We pray to have a responsible child. If you go and have a useless child, Miss Ima, it's going to be a problem. Yeah, some children, They don't have feelings for their parents. They always believe that their parents is the cause of their failure. We pray that God should not give us those kind of children. Children that always believe that when they don't achieve what they want, they're supposed to achieve, their parents is the problem. If you go and have this kind of children, oh, I'm sorry for that parents. Me, the kind of person that I am, I don't know it's because I have the fear of God. My sister, I love my parents, even though they don't have something to give to me, even though they has any assistance to give to me, I love them. All if I think only the time they used my mother had me in her womb alone. The time we used to feed you when you were a baby, watch over you alone. So I don't see any reason why some people will get to adult age because they did not succeed to some extent. They want to see themselves. Then some of them will not be saying their parent is not their problem. Their parent is the one that is making them, that makes them to become a failure. They will start accusing their parents. When I see those kind of things, it pains me so much. People don't know the value of parents. Some of them, they will see their parents at old age. They will be working as a gate man. And some of those men, some of those people that are working as old age as gate man, you will see some of their children will be rich to the extent that they will not even care about their parents. If you even ask them, have you seen your parents for so and so time? It will tell you that, oh, I don't even care. I don't want to see them. They did not care for me when I was young. So I don't want to take care of them. I don't care about them. You see some children like that, Sister Ima, I will be wondering what is going on. What is going on in the life of this kind of people? They always see wrong in their parents, but they don't see the good side. They don't see the struggle where those parents have been through before they even get you to this extent that you are, brought you up to this extent that you are. They don't look at those things. The time they will crack their brain to think of your school fees, your Christmas clothes. You don't think of those things anymore. But when you not get to some extent, some of them, because they are already married now, they just neglect their parents, their mother and their father. Their parents will be suffering. I pray every day that none of us will have useless children. If you have useless children, it is finished. Sometimes, if I don't receive call from my mother in the day, I cannot sleep in the night. You understand?
Even at this age, even right now.
Huh? You said what?
Even right now, even right now.
I'm telling you, about 3 days ago, my mother called me. I missed the missed call. I saw the missed call on my phone, and I don't have credit to call her. And I was waiting to have credit to buy credit so I can reach her back. Do you know that during that night I cannot sleep in the night? It is yesterday when I heard her voice, I now sleep peacefully. But how many children think this way? How many children care about their parents this way? How many? That is the problem. It depends when you have a responsible child that loves their parents. If you have some children that does not care about anybody, that does not have feelings, it is over for the parents. And that is the reason why train up a child the way it will grow. Children need to be brought up in the fear of God. That's the only thing that can soften some children's hearts. If they grow up without the knowledge of God, without the fear of God, it is finished for the parents. I will stop there for now, Ms. Ima. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that heartfelt submission. Thank you. All right, Mr. Kennedy, we're ready for you too.
Thank you, thank you very much to viewers all over the world and the co-panelists. Thank you, Mr. Brother Nice. I send greetings to you too. In Japan, people like Brother Nice, we Japanese call them mazakon, that is mother complex. So if you don't receive call from your mother, you cannot sleep at this age. Are you kidding me? Or you have too much love for your mother? Anyway, congratulations for being able to do that. We have a lot of people like that. You see, this situation of the father breaking down because the child did not reply his messages. But one thing we have to first of all look into is the father sure, 100% sure the child got the message? That is one. And what makes the father think the child has abandoned him? Because there's no confirmation that the child abandoned or ignored his message. Those are the things some of the things we have to look into. So a lot of people abroad are not finding it very easy too. The child must have been going through a lot in that particular period. This message came into his phone or whatever, and the child might not be able to reply. So we cannot blame the child 100% because we have not heard from his side of the story, whether he actually tried to ignore, whether he actually ignored, or he didn't see the message, or probably the wife saw the message before the husband and deleted the message. There are a lot of circumstances that might militate to the child either ignoring or not giving attention to the message. And a lot of people pass through different circumstances when they were growing up. There are children that had it very tough when they were growing up, when they were passing through the schools and whatever. But there are some people too, like some of us, we had the best from our parents. They gave us the education. Never allow us to pass through stress when they were giving us the school fees and the pocket money and all that. And even my mother, we grew up in the village to some extent. Even I would tell my mother after taking all the money that I need money to entertain my girlfriend, and she will equally give me the money. So, but not all parents are like that. And even some people that were taken care of, they will forget their parents too. It's neither here nor there. And sometimes you have to look into the institutions too, our institutions in Africa, because the government has not put in place all these, facilities to be able to take care of the elderly. So that is why the world is evolving. If you have children abroad, you wouldn't even think of, whether the children has to come take care of you when you get old, because they won't be there for you. The government will be there for you. The facilities are there. So if you're afraid, and I'm afraid that when you are weak, you can no longer do something on your own, they take you into the government facility, and you are taken care of by the day service, or people that take care of the elderly and all that. So all these things are there. So there won't be any need for you to break down because your children are taking care of themselves. They have their own families too. So the world is evolving very fast, and we have to, like somebody wrote on the platform, on the comment section, that brother Knight should take care of himself and provide for his old age. Yeah, that is what is going on. That is why we have pension. Everybody pays here into the pension scheme, so that when you get old, all these things will be there to take care of you. And like in Japan here, for instance, if you go to the hospital, because these safety nets are there. We go to the hospital and the money is probably more than, like, I think $500. Then the government takes over from there. The money stops there, and the government takes over the responsibility, even if it is going to millions and all that. These things are not there in our country, where you have to basically do everything with your personal finances, with your physical cash and all that. That is the problem. But in abroad, all these things are there. You pay into the pension scheme. When you get old, you receive salary at the end of the month. If you go to the hospital, the elderly, they go to the hospital for free, or for peanuts. So but we will encourage ourselves and our children. But now, don't be afraid of old age. We are, for me, I'm already afraid. So that's why we are putting in place some safety nets that will keep us going when we get old. We encourage our young ones to at least try as much as possible, because of the vulnerability of our parents back home. There's no insurance, nothing for them to lean back on, for us to be able to at least take care of them, so that they won't be having too much stress, so that their BP will not be rising every now and again. So that is how I see it. Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Kennedy. But aside from those two, although this story led me to go make research on others, and there are a couple of brothers, there are a lot of uh of people who have similar stories like this, of them sending their children abroad and being abandoned by their children, and so they are down to nothing. They are being fed by community people, street people, the neighbors, and all of that. And now, so it's a case of parents that have done all sorts, to see to it that they give a better life to their children. And in turn, these people just now, this is the kind of people we are talking about, not what if, those, not like the general people.
Yes. Okay. There are so many situations abroad that a lot of people at home do not understand. There are children that were sent abroad, and they end up getting into trouble, and they are being imprisoned. There are a lot of families who complain that they've not heard from their children like maybe 5, 10, 8 years. And these guys probably be put in prison for the last 13 years, and they are still there because of getting involved in one illicit business or the other. There are a lot of situations going abroad. I have been president of Nigeria, I know how many times I've gone to prison to see people. I know how people break down when they, just cite you, coming to visit them in prisons and all that. Some people, let me tell you, for the past 13 years, some people have been there, 15 years, some people have been there, and their parents will keep deceiving their parents that, sometimes they call you and you say, okay, let me see what I'll do. I'll get to him. He lives in the countryside. He's not been out for some time. And some people are even dead. A lot of people died in their houses because of one ailment or the other. And we find it difficult to report this to their family, because the family will just broke down and die when they hear this. A lot of things are going on. So it's not just that children just abandon their parents. A lot of people, they want to help, but the capability to help is not there. But those people that have the capability to help should try as much as possible to help their parents, because the parents are now very vulnerable. So that's the way I see it. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Kennedy, thank you very much for your submission. If you're just joining us, welcome to our newspaper review. Thank you for joining us. Please do well to like the podcast, do well to share and invite someone onto the broadcast. Thank you very much. Oh, and also remember to support us by clicking on the dollar sign to the right on the comment section. Thank you very much, Mr. Pansat. You made it down here, and we are excited to have you on this broadcast. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. I promised you that I would show up, so I had to make sure that I showed up here.
Thank you very much. Have you been following the story, or you just joined in?
I heard Mr. Kennedy's submission, and I read
Okay.
the title. So was there an anecdote before that? Is there?
Yes, yes. There was a reference to the story of an old man that had an emergency, was at the hospital for two weeks, needed money urgently, reached out to his son abroad, who is doing well. But there was no response from his son, and the man broke down and shared with the nurses of how he did all sorts to see to it that he trained his child and sent the child abroad, and the child is doing well today, but has abandoned him, and asking what he has gone wrong. So now there are two sides to this. African parents using their children as retirement plan. We have lots of aged people back home. As soon as you, I mean, as you know, that the government never have had a plan for old people or for aged people over here. So I mean, everything falls down on the children. So it's just like a circle. You have a child, you take care of the child, you see to it that they are well. At the end of the day, they see to it that you are well, then they take care of you just before your dying days. Then we keep going on and on and on. Well, thank God for now that we have structures in place that can take care of of you when you are old, pension and the likes. But these other ones that do not have, our fathers that do not have the privilege of pension, of the knowledge of pension, and that are still very much holding on to their children. And of course, Mr. Kennedy shed light on the likes of those or instances or cases of those who are abroad, but the parents thinks they are living all large over there, unknown to them that some are not even available, like some are gone, some are struggling, some are having police cases and the likes of that. But you, Mr. Pansat, what's your take on this?
Oh wow, that's you know the Japanese say you cannot listen to one and judge two. So the old man has narrated his side of the story, so we don't know the children, the kids' own side of the story, obviously. But somebody said in the chat section that maybe that's a tragedy, the person is in jail or they are sick or something like that, or not doing very well. So there's a lot of unknowns, but generally I can understand. So I'm going to put them together with what Mr. Kennedy submitted. You know, it's a very difficult thing, obviously. It's actually a science. The science involved in parenting and everything else, how children turn out. That was the area that he was discussing that's important to me. Now, some of us, like myself, when I'm talking, I'm not saying that I'm perfect. It's probably from my own experience where I made some mistakes, and then what I've learned since as a parent. You understand what I mean, Emma? So there is nobody who could sit up here or anywhere as a perfect parent. It's a difficult thing. It's a science. Now, there's a dichotomy between African parents back home and those who are outside of Nigeria and various cultures, obviously. Like myself, I had a very strict father who was my dad, and then my mom was not as strict, right? So in those days, the way they used to do it, it worked because when you have a strict father, right? I remember going to get a haircut. It's one of my, I didn't like it, but you can't even say anything. And then when you go there to get a haircut, he's already going to instruct the barber to take it all the way down to the skull, right? So you don't want to say you want a little on the top, like a Gilo or something like that, like a star. That's nothing like that. So today it's not like that for good reasons, and it's good that way. So the angle that I was looking at this is for those who already made a mistake in their family right now. I want you to know, first of all, nobody has it right 100%. So you could start today. You could start with an apology. You could start with all kinds of things. It's never too late. And as far as nobody's got it right, a lot of people, they do far better than others. Resources are important. Understanding the love from parents is not dependent on money. If you are giving your parents money or not, or if your parents gave you money when you were young or not. So it's not really a money issue, even though it plays a lot of role in it. So I know I'm all over the map on this because there are 3 or 4 discussions going on. Okay, the story with the old man, that's not uncommon. If the young man doesn't have any money, he may avoid his parents. It doesn't mean he doesn't love his parents. He's just not in a position to do that. So we needed a little bit more to that story. But what I would conclude with is to say that those who know this, who studied this, who have a degree in it, okay, they will tell you there are certain things you're supposed to do with your children. Okay, I'm just going off of the title now of this episode, which is, where do parents get it wrong with badly behaved children? So these things that I'm going to mention, some of them you could go back today and do it starting from today. Just forgive yourself, apologize to your children. Yes, apologize to your children. What you do matters. What you do matters. If you haven't made any mistake yet, or if your kid is very young, 1 year or 2 year, so you have to set a very good example. You should be loving. Don't let it be translated to him as too loving. You be involved in your child's life, right? Try to have your whole family involved in raising your children. I mean, the old-fashioned way. Set some rules. It's not rules you're going to enforce sometime. You're not going to enforce it sometime. You have to enforce it, you know, consistently. You know, you have to be consistent. Avoid being harsh the way our parents did it in those days. You know, explain your rules and your decisions and treat your child with respect. Yes, respect. So those kind of things. Avoid calling your child names. Try to put some self-assurance in yourself and also in your kids, all right? So those kind of things. Get some therapy if you have to. If you know that you cannot handle it, there's nothing wrong with therapy, but this will be for people who are outside Nigeria. I don't know how developed the social sciences and behavioral professionals are in Nigeria. But anyway, so that's actually the angle that I'm interested in. But remember that even like someone like myself talking about it, nobody's perfect. Now, if my kids are growing up today, there's a lot of things I would have done differently in that sense. But not too late to start. Even if you made a lot of mistakes, start today. Gather your family together. Show them some love. Apologize if you have to. And get forgiveness of yourself. Love is not money. Thank you very much, Emma.
Thank you very much for that, Mr. Ponsat. That was a whole lot. Thank you very much. And I hope that we all heard that and we'll be doing justice to that. Indeed. There's a story out there. It's out there of a man that went all out to see his children in Canada. He sent them schooling in Canada. He got there, and as he went there, got in, he met his daughter, two of his children, the boy and a girl, met his daughter, and she said, welcome. She greeted the father. She welcomed the father. As he came in, she was stepping out. So, he felt it was an emergency or necessary. And then he moved on and he waited for his son your father just came all the way. He came all the way. So he was expecting that welcome. And the guy was still on his gadgets. Then he had to go meet the guy and like I'm here and all of that. So he greeted and welcomed him and he tried charging him and the boy said, but we've welcomed you. She said, welcome. What else do you want? She's outside with a male friend and the man was shocked. And while people are reacting to that, saying that most parents that all they do is walk, and see to it to give their children the best education, that there is more to life than just giving your children best education. And that's because you, Mr. Pansat, said love is no money, and that has come up, that this is what has made this to come up. So to every parent out there, please take out time to spend time with your family. Yes, that's why on Fridays I will say this weekend, take out time, spend time with your family, do something with the family. Family is actually very important. By family, those ones that give you peace. So I'm not one of those that says blood is thicker than water, and then we want to kill you all in the name of family. I mean, those ones, family. Our family is very important. Please let us do right by our family. And if you've wandered off, as Mr. Pansa said, just take some steps back and do the needful. Start with an apology. Start with apologizing to yourself. Start with forgiving your own self. And letting go. Forgiveness. You have to truly be ready, and forgiveness. So please, let's let this broadcast be a blessing, or let it be the beginning of of a new chapter, of a better chapter for you. Go back to that place. Whoever you've counseled, family, please make amends. It's not too late. Try. All right, we have King Emeka right here with us. How are you doing, sir? Welcome to the broadcast.
Yeah, good morning. I just listened to what you were saying. And the man visited his kids in Canada, and they weren't too receptive, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I think there might be more to the story, because I would presume if you just don't leave Nigeria to start, jumping the airplane and coming to Canada. It's approximately is 5,600 miles, right? So you probably would have communicated to your kids, and I would presume he might have a house, and those children might be teenagers, right? That's what I'm presuming, because if my parents is trying to come to see me, there will be discussions, even me taking up the bills to bring them over. There will be full arrangements, preparing somewhere for them to stay in my house, a room, and also the itineraries that might come along with the visits, where we might, places we might want to go to. So, like you said, he might have sent them to school and they're teenagers. Well, parenting is quite difficult, right? And parenting teenagers are quite difficult. Teenagers at that point in their life, they are trying to assume a personality of themselves. They've been influenced either by school, their environment, and in a place where he is not even involved. So that's parental. How will I put it? His influence over his kids will be diminished at that point in time. Um, coming around and saying that they were not so receptive. Well, it's not strange with teenagers. They are always like that. I would presume they are teenagers, because a full-blown adult would know, at that point, especially when these adults are now parents of their own, or they've seen more into life, they've experienced things, and they are now fully matured. They'll begin to, understand that, okay, maybe they might have had some concerns or issues with their parents or their dad, but they will see that their dad was trying as much as possible to do the best they can.
Let me put it right in, please. Just on this line, please. Okay, so you say that they're teenagers and all that.
I,
All
I
right.
say
So
I am presuming they might be teenagers, because
you're right. They are. They are. They're
yeah,
teenagers. I mean, they
yeah,
sent them over, just two of them. They came in from Nigeria, no place, no. I mean, one of these average Nigerian who would do everything to send their children abroad for better,
yeah.
for better education and life here. Okay, so that was it. But even when somebody is coming from the village, our culture over here, we are excited, we are jumping up, we are cooking your favorite meal, we are getting the bed ready, bed sheet, and all of that. Now, when I had an in-law one time who came in from America, and he had not been home for a very long time, and this is someone that is well to do, well read, and all of that. He came in, we were so excited, welcomed him well, and when he was leaving, we followed him to the car. And this man, he was so embarrassed, and he said that no, in America they don't do that. That you just stay at your door and you say bye, and you shut your door, and the person will walk by himself. And he said this so sternly. So I think it is a thing of culture. That's what I think when I saw that story. I think it is a thing of culture that our parents do not, they expect same treatment that you give them back home over there. I just wanted to put that out there. Please
No,
continue, sir.
I'm not saying it's. I'm not saying it's. You didn't. You didn't. I figured it out that they were teenagers. Why? Because of the behavior. Only teenagers. Not only that, their father also. They being in Canada, right? They're probably either from high school or probably trying to enter into college at that point in time. The man must have a house, because for the kids to, for him. Why I say this, because I'm putting myself in that scenario. I'm in Canada and I know what's probably will be playing out. For him to leave the airport to come down, he knows the apartment, which means that's his house. His kids are in the house. And they're probably going to school from there. These are typical teenagers' personalities and behavior. Some would outgrow it, some would not. It's only going to spiral to become a very bad situation, right? And it now depends on your relationship between yourself and the child at that teenage age. Some might be very stubborn, and you're trying to, you are heavy-handed on them, especially the guys. You're trying to mold them, put impart some discipline into them, right? It's not. I think you made a statement about working. You have to work. If you don't work, you can't provide. Many times, especially the men, you must try to work. And many of us would work either long hours, irrespective of where we are. You know, I know Pansat was saying money is not love. I agree with that. But in some circumstances, I know parents should also try to be involved. But again, if you have experienced teenage personalities, you would tend to understand that many teenagers at some point in time are struggling between personalities. And then again, they are, we have a society, especially in the West, that do not believe so much on family values, right? Do not believe, they tend to tip towards personalities, individualism, rather than the collective group, family values, strong values, traditional values that would keep you upright and well rooted to the society. No, they believe, oh, you're an individual, you're a different personality of your own. You can do whatever you want to do. And I think that might be one of the major issues that might be going on in that family. A lot of Nigerians in the West are going through that turbulent times, especially when their kids are teenagers now. They are soaking in Western values, soaking in Western cultures that do not align with our own heritage, our own values of strong family ties, and they want to do whatever they want to do because they see their contemporaries doing that. But the good thing, many may want to acknowledge later on in life that I think my dad is doing well by me. I think my dad is keeping me on the ground. I think my dad is disciplining me because he sees that I can do better. And they would outgrow that. And you find that these people turn out well in the society. Those who want to go astray, you find out they are the downtrodden of the society because they don't want to listen. So what I would say, yes, demand.
Does this happen by default, or there is a trigger to this youthful exuberance?
It happens. It happens as a teenager. You have your own personality traits coming up. You understand, especially with guys, even with ladies too. You're becoming a man. Your hormones. You're getting this attribute, and then you still have to contend with your parents. Your parents coming to try to tell you, correct you on specific things. You find out some. When you go, you see stories. You find out kids, their parents have to call the police on their sons because their son is unruly. He wants to stay late at night, or he wants to bring girls into the house, which is not good, right? Those are the, I'm not saying those can be the far end of it, right? That's this person is overstretching the boundary. You could also find, but it all depends on the personalities. Like what Madam Irene said yesterday. I think it's Madam Irene. Parenting, there's no manual for it. You only try your best and you pray for the best. So you will have a child who would listen. You might have a child who would not listen, and you try your best to see what you can do. But as kids, when you grow up and you become a father or a mother of your own, you would understand what your parents were trying to do back then. You will understand those disciplines were things they wanted you to know so that you can be upright in the society. And those who do not take it, they end up regretting. They are the far end of the stick, regretting those actions, regretting why they didn't listen to their dad or their mom, regretting why they didn't become right. But in our society, or with individuals generally, we do not want to blame ourselves most of the time. Some would begin to say, oh, my dad didn't do right by me, my mom didn't do right by me. And even in the West here, you find out once the son is or the daughter is becoming erratic, they kick you out of the house, and they don't want to they don't want to have anything to do with you. So we all pray to have good kids. What I would want to tell the man, yes, they didn't welcome you. It's normal. Don't see it as a bad sign. Maybe there might be some conflicts. Probably he's trying to monitor them from Nigeria, which is a typical thing parents will want to do. Want to know what they're doing back here in Canada from Nigeria, and they don't like that monitoring spirit, right? So that will be like a regular conflict, and he's coming around. So which means more monitoring for them, and they don't like it. Teenagers don't like, in short, nobody even likes it. Nobody likes to be monitored. Nobody likes to be controlled by a different individual, right? Even with the government, nobody likes to want to be controlled. So what he can do is probably, sit down and try to want to discuss with them, that might not work. Honestly, with teenagers, it might not work. But he should hope for the best. He should try his best. He should try alternative means to communicate with his kids, try alternative ways to reach out to them. Hopefully they might get it. And if they don't get it, he should go outright and begin to get things organized, because some individuals might not get it. They will only get it when things are wrong for them. Some will get it and say, okay, they will begin to apply themselves. For this individual, what he can also do is maybe at this point, bring them back home for a visit, drive them around the slums of Ajegule or the slums of or the ghettos in different areas in the country, and show them how privileged they are. That what they are taking for granted, people are dreaming. Those are their prayer points. They should also understand that life is about taking your opportunities and not taking them for granted. Thank you.
Thank you, King Emeka. Thank you for that submission. Thank you to each and every one of you on this broadcast following right here and on the comment section. Does not say nothing and just enjoying the program, learning. I say thank you for being here. I do also like this broadcast. Please, thank you very much. Now, like we have the story of over time, if you just impute on your search engine female officers being harassed by male officers, you'll be amazed at the number of female officers that that gets to be harassed. This year alone, 2022, there's been lots and lots and lots of this reports coming up. There's one that is out there trending today of a Nigerian police officer, female officer, that got allegedly got brutalized for rejecting male colleagues' love advance. So, a woman identified as Inspector Olorunshogo Bamidele, serving at the Nigerian Police Force Osun State Command and attached to the Odeomu Divisional Headquarters, has cried out for justice after she was allegedly physically assaulted and brutalized by her senior colleague, ASP Ajayi Matthew. In a video making the rounds on the internet where Inspector Bamidele appeared with cuts and bruises all over her body, with a torn police uniform, she accused the senior colleague, ASP Matthew, of sexual harassment. Amid tears in the video, the policewoman narrated her ordeal in the incident that happened on Tuesday, adding that ASP Matthew, also the divisional crime officer, divisional crime officer. I mean, I'm honestly not even surprised. After that lawmaker and an intending aspiring lawmaker, all right. This person that assaulted his colleague is a divisional crime officer. Had been making love advances at her, but she refused, as she told him that she was married and could not engage in any love affair to him. According to her, rather than letting her be, he has been using his position to intimidate and harass, blackmail, and threaten to sack her if she refuses to accept his love advance. Inspector Bamidele said he started beating me to the extent that he naked me. Look at my chest, my hands, everywhere injured, Mr. Ajayi Matthew. When asked why the senior colleague assaulted her, she said, I don't know, because he asked me out that I should befriend him. I said, no, I am a married woman. I cannot befriend you. He started blackmailing me, saying he is the one befriending me, which is not true. My right hand was there, 2 constables and 10 civilians. Now, these are the witnesses that she provided. My right hand, 2 constables and 10 civilians. After doing that, he went inside and carried a den gun and said he wanted to gun me down. The civilians had to take me out of the office and said I should run away, but I said no. If he wants to kill me, he should kill me. Help me, assist me. Ajayi wants to kill me. Odeomu Division. Well, that's the woman crying out to people and giving people the information. The Nigerian Police Force authorities are yet to officially react to the video, which exposes the moral decadence and corruption which had infiltrated the force in recent years. And okay, so that's the story. And now let's watch the video. It's quite a video, but let's see.
What is my offense? He now started me to the extent he put me into naked. Look at all my chest, my hand, everywhere injured. Mr. Jai Matthew.
Because of what?
I don't know, because he asked me for out that I should be befriending him. I said, no, I'm a married woman. I cannot befriend you. He started blaming me with on evidence something that he is the one that is befriending me, which is not so.
This is terrible. In the presence of your co-workers.
Yeah, my writer was there, constable, 2 constables, and 10 civilians. After doing that, he now went inside and carried. He said, "Want me down." The civilian now take me out from the office. They said I should be running away. I said, no. If you want to me, you should. They should help me. They should assist me. Ajayi want to or the Omu division.
All right, that's it about that video. That's that video. And I tell you that if you just Google in assault on female officers, now that's the story so far. The Nigerian police, they are looking into it, and we trust them to be very swift on this one that has made the internet rounds and all eyes. And this has also caught the attention and the hearts of Nigerians out there. And they are calling out on the Nigerian police to do something about that, and the man should be brought to book. All right, Mr. Kennedy, let's catch a reaction to that happening over here.
Thank you very much. Before I dwell on this incident of sexual harassment, let me first of all congratulate or thank my brothers here, King Emeka and Mr. Pansat, for their submissions on the previous issues. These are families back home, because they are African or because of their tradition and culture. This entitlement mentality, they feel they are entitled to everything. These children these children we're talking about in Canada may have done their best, but our parents, they feel very entitled. They feel they have every right to demand for everything. They just complain. But anyway, that aside, this issue of sexual harassment, you see, this is what we've been saying about these meta issues, that the government has to put all these facilities in place to checkmate all these people. You see, this inspector now might be having some stress, might be having the kind of stress the president is having, PTSD, or he may be, mentally imbalanced. This, how can an inspector of a division or divisional inspector of police, attack a police officer in the office where you have a lot of people that are as evidence, people watching and listening, and you are attacking a fellow police.
Mr. Kennedy, an ASP harassed an inspector.
Okay, assistant superintendent of police, attacking inspector of police. So you just look at what is going on in our country, and probably this thing did not just start on that day. It has been reoccurring, and this woman has been afraid to cry out, probably because she knows that people will not listen to the institutions are not there to listen to her. And she will just be quiet. She has been probably stomaching this thing for a very long time, and that is why it has, metamorphosed into this attacking of a thing. You see, in a very developed country, you see, you find it, you are even afraid to touch a woman or even a man. You are even because as somebody that is in position. You see, our police here in Japan, they don't go to bars, they don't go to clubs. If they are found or seen in the clubs, they are, if they are reported to the authorities, they are in trouble. They don't do that. Our police, because they feel they are alpha and omega, nothing is going to happen to them. You see that this issue will even be swept under the carpet. Or because now it has been exposed on the internet, the police will try to do one or two things. It's not supposed to be the police that will investigate this police ASP. It's supposed to be a public prosecutors, public prosecuting department that is supposed to handle all these things. And the woman will make a lot of money. You see, this is a married woman that was assaulted, and she's crying in public. I want to ask the woman some pertinent questions. The man has probably started approaching you in about a year or 6 months or 3 months ago, not just now. So why has she been quiet? Why did she report this matter to the husband? Did she report the matter to other senior police officers? Did she report to AIG? Did she report to anybody? Why is she not crying out? Or is it because something went wrong? Or is it because what she's looking for, she didn't get it, now she's crying out? There are a lot of things. Unless we have to wait for the investigation and see the details of the investigation before we can get involved in this kind of conversation. Because a lot of things are going on there. Even women too harass men. Even women harass men. They make advances to men too. So I don't know the final submission on this issue, but I would say it is not proper for any man to sexually assault a woman, and a married woman in that stride, married woman assaulting sexually a married woman in the office and all that, to the extent bruises all over the body. This is wow, animal kingdom. Thank you.
Mr. Kennedy, you just had to say Animal Kingdom. I'm so I
Animal
don't know.
kingdom. Animal kingdom. If you like this bruises this woman is having all over her body, if it's in Japan, that man, wow, yeah, he has to relocate the family from the house, so otherwise the children can no longer go to school, because the school children will not allow the children to come to school, and the people, the neighbors will not even allow the wife to go on the street. That's what is happening in Japan. That's why you find it, people don't fight. You don't humiliate people on the street, because if you do, both all your families, you are in trouble, and the family of that policeman will never get into the police or the extended family, because Oyibo people know as they do their things when make peace day. So, but for us now, this man is probably having this big stomach and walking on the street and not minding what he has done, and people will be praising him.
All right. So this story has drawn up other reactions, and people are saying that if he can do this to his own colleague, how much more? How much more? What will he do to an ordinary civilian? People are questioning, his place, his integrity, his work ethics, and all of that. And this has generated quite a reaction from Nigerians, and they're saying that a Nigerian police actually does not care. You would think that they would say because somebody, or because you have civilians there, that they will try to not put their business out there. But what they even do out there on the street, collecting bribe, broad daylight, like these boss people that are going that are on strike right now, ideally these boss people would not be giving money to these touts out there. But because there is always the traffic police, what traffic police majorly does lately is not lately, it has been going on for a long time. What the traffic police does, they stand with the thug. So if you're not willing to give money, you see them harass you. So of course, if you're not going to stop for the thug, you'll stop because the police has asked you to stop. Else, I mean, they will just use their stick or anything and hit you, or they will not let you go. So they are there and they have their share at the end of the day. Yes, at the end of the day, the thug have their share, and the traffic police, they have their share. This is how they work. This is how they work hand in hand. So when it comes to harassment, this case, people are saying that they do that. If they were supposed to believe or disbelieve the story, the fact that they were civilians there and this still happened, that is very much the modus operandi of these people, because they don't give it to. A Nigerian police will threaten you, they life say, I will shoot you here, nothing will happen, and mabasi, that person will shoot you, and nothing at all. Nothing is going to happen to that person at all. All right, Mr. Pansat, let's have your submission to that story, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. Mr. Kennedy covered everything in that in his own submission, even though towards the end he started making a couple of mistakes there, which was tried to blame this victim here, a very brave woman. This is not just a sexual harassment. I saw the bruises on that woman's hands. This is more like a sexual assault. It's not a harassment. It's gone beyond that, way beyond that. And it just breaks somebody's heart, It's sad, but she's a brave, beautiful police officer. And she's already started the correct path, which is to make it public the way she did it. Who's policing the police in Nigeria? Or anywhere, as a matter of fact, but Nigeria in particular. Who's policing the police? Imagine what a lot of people look at what civilians go through in the hands of police officers in Nigeria. Not to talk about this is their colleague. Look at what she's narrating. That's a trained police officer in that state. Breaks your heart to feel sorry for a Nigerian police officer. In my case, it's not easy, but this time I really do. This woman has got bruises on her hands. This is not a goddamn sexual harassment. There are some of that, but this is a battery. This is an assault. And shame on the Nigerian police force if they go the next 24 hours without arresting whoever this culprit is. Because this woman's life is in danger. And the public. What a shame. If you're a police officer in Nigeria and you see your colleague giving that testimony to a press, and you don't have this bastard arrested in the next 24 hours, then shame on you. You're an animal. This is somebody who's serving the public, a beautiful married woman who's been undergoing harassment. And like most people, nobody wants to escalate something to that degree if there's a chance that the culprit is going to stop. Who wants to go talking about that? Mr. Kennedy, it's not an easy thing for a woman to go talking about something like that, even to her husband, because it's almost like, hey, it's the way you walk or whatever. You must have started it or something like that. So if it could be avoided, it'd be avoided. But this woman is saying, heck, forget it. He's telling the public, which means her bosses don't want to take action and arrest this animal. No, it's not sexual harassment. If those bruises on her body, or if she even has brothers and people like that, that bastard should not be walking free today. She's very brave to come out there to the public and show her face and her hands and her chest with all those bruises. I mean, she's crying out for help. Her life's in danger. But I'm not a professional. That's why I limit my conversation on this platform on politics. But no, I'm not. I don't want to see anything like that. So I'm appealing to Nigerians, those who are in the police. Arrest that man tonight. Let him go ahead and show his side of the story, because there's just no reason why a police officer, a woman, will be out there crying for help. Anyway, thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Pansat, that was a good one. Regardless of the uniform that she has on, Nigerians, let's join forces until she gets justice. Yes, let's join forces. We know that when it has to do with the Nigerian police, it's almost like we do not want to concern ourselves because of how they've shown us over time where their loyalty lies. But this one is serious. This one is we have to talk about this. We need to call them out. We need to call them out. Everybody has to talk about this. That was gruesome. I mean, the rage. And that's it. And really, it's sad because sometimes if this thing does not get national outcry, the case just gets swept under the carpet. That's it. When they daringly or brazenly say nothing will happen, that's the sad part. That's the sad part. King Maker, let's get your submission on this.
All right, thank you. I'm going to attack this on a threefold, right? Sexual harassment issues in Nigeria, workplace assault, and weak internal policies in the police. Considerably just the internal affairs. I think those guys are the ones responsible for policing the police. In all this, the underlying factor here is abuse of power. When people who are in a place of authority or in a place of power begin to abuse their office or their responsibility to in and their rights or privileges to such corridors of power or place of power, you get to see this. The first one, sexual harassment, right? It's predominantly in Nigeria, occurs everywhere in all institutions, whether government or private. It's not it's not something that people shy away from. It's rampant. You understand, like what Mr. Kennedy said. You still find women harassing men and men harassing women. So it's also an abuse of power, right? Regardless of the fact that the woman might have explained to you, I'm a married woman, and that is like a limitation. Don't take your advances somewhere else. But some men don't know how to handle rejection properly, especially men who hold power. An example of this is Senator Akpabio, who in his disposition of being was it the minister of Niger Delta, sexually harassed was it the PAMSEC or who, I can't remember the lady, right? And she came out in the public and said this
Yeah, I
man
remember that story.
exactly
Yeah,
that the
yeah.
man is wants to sleep with me and I don't want it, and as a result of that there was a conflict and he's trying to kick me out. And what happened to that story? Senator Akpabio is still in power. He's still the minister, right? And probably would be a minister in the next
And her life
administration.
was threatened, Her life was threatened.
Yeah, definitely, because he's a man of power, right? No, nothing was done to him, and she lost her job. So that's
Yeah.
that's an imbalance. That's why I said I will address this from a threefold, right? Those with power continue to abuse that right and privileges conveyed on them, and if it has happened in the West, Senator Akpabio will lose his job typically on the first day that that woman came out. He will lose his job. Then internal investigation is going to kick in, and then dependent on his relative power or influence within the country, the climes of the country, it may determine whether the police will come in to carry out a thorough investigation or not, or his political party or the president may look at it and say, okay, we've gotten rid of him, let him just go, let him go to political oblivion, and nobody will deal with him anymore again. Let's just let him be. But when that woman escalated, he would lose his position of authority because it's an abuse of power. Now, workplace assault. Unfortunately, the woman had made allegations that, okay, this man is making advances towards me. And I said, no, I don't want it. Let's say it's true, let's say it's untrue, but we could visibly see injuries on her body, you understand? And that typically is workplace violence and workplace assault, you understand? So it's uncalled for, regardless of what the lady is saying. It might be hearsay, it might be he said, she said, but we are seeing evidence of injuries, bodily harm on her. So that typically is a workplace violence, a workplace assault that should not occur. Colleagues should not be fighting others. Colleagues should not be causing bodily harm or damages to their other colleagues, right? And then when it's coming from someone who is in the place of authority, he's the DCO. He's the second in command to that police station, I believe so, because after the DPO is the DCO, the divisional crime officer. So clearly he's abusing his power, he's abusing his place. And it also would tell you the culture in that police station. If the DCO who is an ASP, Assistant Secretary of Police, is making advances towards a married woman, and the DPO, who is the head of that police station, do not call him to order, it shows that the culture in that place is bad, is terrible. So regardless of what whether it's sexual harassment or whether she's lying or not, there's an evidence of workplace assaults that we can clearly see, and that should be investigated thoroughly. Now, the third one is weak internal policies of the police. It's strange for me for the policewoman to come out and this should be leaking out through social media. I would expect the Nigerian police to have hotlines, whistleblower lines, where their colleagues can report bad practices, bad usages, bad behaviors of police officers, and also things that have to do with workplace violence, sexual harassment, and likewise, not only that, and abuse of power uh, carried out by the police on civilians, either civilians or those who are in their custody office. Those that should be in place. I know the police they have been sending out emergency numbers and who to reach out to. I think there's this popular superintendent of police, Honde, that, I think he's sort of the public relation officer in Lagos, probably. And I don't know who's the national guy in Abuja that is responsible for that. I would want them to explain, not every institution should imbibe that culture of, whistleblowing, hotlines, internal hotlines, in that institution or in that organization where you report bad practices, weakness in controls, staff members or colleagues who are not adhering to the internal policies of the organization. So I find it very strange. It's a weakness in the internal affairs of the police that their colleague has to go on social media to escalate this. They should have that room that, okay, if you escalate issues like this, no repercussions will come on you. We would investigate thoroughly and actions will be taken. If this is not in place, clearly, if it's in place, I don't know why she didn't utilize it, but I would presume it's not in place because why would she go to social media to begin to escalate her issues? And that's very terrible. So the internal affairs of the police shows they are probably not doing their job very well, because they are the ones that should draft this policy in place, have policies on sexual harassment issues that can be escalated to them so that they can investigate bad conduct of police officers, workplace assaults, bad behaviors, general bad behaviors that has to do with the police, and people would come in and begin to look at it. Some like in the banks, I know the banks, they do have it. That's why you have the internal auditors who would come around to begin to look at things, or the investigation teams who will come around to say, okay, what has gone wrong here? What's happening here? Or even the HR would kick in if it has to, if it's too bad, and they say, oh no, we have to terminate your employment, right? So these are bad practices involved in the police, and it needs to be looked into. The public do not have to step in for the police to come and police their own police officers. No, the police officers should have these measures in place that can be escalated to them independently, without fear, without repercussions, and then this thorough investigation can come in. And that's the only way we can have a very good police system, because we definitely know the abuses of the police officers, right? And if the police officers are doing that to civilians, definitely they'll be doing it to themselves. It's an abuse of power, clearly, and it should be curtailed. And like I said, a weakness in the internal policies of the police that needs to be addressed and needs to be corrected immediately. And also in terms of the entire culture of Nigeria and the abuse of power, we need to look into that. We need to look for policies to address sexual harassment, especially from those in authorities, those responsible in specific privileged offices. Adults can do whatever they want to do. You can reach out. If she agrees, that's fine. But if she's saying no, no means no. It should be it should not move into repercussions because she rejected your advances, or he rejected your advances, and then you want this person or this individual to pay for it. We need to begin to address these concerns so that we can have a safe workplace culture. People can come in and do their work. A workplace is where you work, and not a place where you go in and you are looking for your next concubine or your next freeload, where you can do whatever you want to do. Thank you.
Thank you, King Emeka, for your submission. I heard you all through. Thank you. Mommy Diaspora says, I believe she came out to make it public because she knows she will never get justice. So imagine that we, the civilians, when we have problem, we are supposed to call out to the same police who comes to cry out to us when there's a problem in their own department. Oh dear. I think the entire police force needs to be scrapped. The entire police force needs to be scrapped. They need a rebranding. they need a change of name. They need a total reorientation.
Sorry, man.
Honestly,
Let me just take it. We cannot, we can't scrap the entire police officers, right? That would be, well, who do we replace them with, right? That's throwing away the entire people. But I can give you an example. In the 90s, early 90s in New York, there was a high rate of corrupt police officers that were involved in drugs, involved in bribes, involved in shady deals. You can Google it. The corrupt practices in the New York Police Department was extremely high. You understand? But what did they do? It was this governor. I'm forgetting this governor, but he's a friend to Trump, right? But he's going through his own personal issues. He came in place and decided to change the culture, and when you change the culture of an organization, those who cannot adhere to that culture will not fit. They are now called misfits. And because they can't adhere to the culture, the new culture in place, those consequences that have been set in stone would capture them and spit them out or kick them out. Then, in that respect, you now begin gradually to bring in new set and new breed of police officers that will key into the culture. There is a thorough need for an overhaul. I agree completely. And training, regular training, retraining, constant training, and a way of changing the entire culture of the Nigeria police. We can't do away with all of them. We will have a gap, and insecurity is a major, major issue. I'm a huge proponent of state policing. Why is that? Because the police, if in the states, have local knowledge of what is going on within their states. They understand the terrain properly. And then the governor would have or someone within the purview of the governor or on his administration will be responsible for addressing the police affairs issues so that they can escalate to him. Then put a tone, a cultural tone that would, address some of these issues. So because Abuja is in the center and the control is far away, you find that when you know that your authorities or the head of an organization is not close to you, there's a weakness already. But once it's closer to you and there's a clear oversight over your activities, over your functions, over your responsibilities, and a lot of people are watching you, it keeps you in check. It keeps you you begin to deviate from certain irresponsible behaviors. I love not only state policing, even local government policing. We shouldn't even go to that extent. Yeah.
All right. I think you got me wrong there. When I say it should be scrapped, I'm not. I didn't mean that we do not need policing. A new body should be set up. They should not employ anybody that is coming from that place, or at least their head. I mean, at least their head. And yes, I think I am also down for state policing too. So I think we are still on the same page. We cannot leave the country without that security measures. I just feel that they are up to, they keep coming back, and the fact that they keep pointing us back to our leaders, like the one that said they have a limit of what to bring at their organ, they send them and he was fired, or all of these things. So it goes back to the head. This is a supervisor, and for her to come out and she makes this, you can tell that it is a civilian that made that video for her. A fellow couple not there to do that video. She made this video as they hot for us to see. We can still see that she was still shaking and she was crying out for help. And this is one measure that she know that would work. I don't think those other measures would work. The one that you said that they should have like an hotline or something, or measures where they can reach out. We do not trust these people. They know they cannot trust themselves just yet. That's why they're coming out. That's why she came out to social media as they hot like this. So come on, share our ordeal now. How many people for how long? But all of these things needs to be checkmated at the end of the day. So good thing she came on here. Mr. Chris George, good to have you on the broadcast. Let's catch a submission in 2 minutes, sir. All right, Mr. Chris Judge is unavailable. Let's take this comment from Mommy Diaspora. She says she came out for one, justice, and two, for her to be able to keep our job in the future, or else that so-called Oga and his likes will force her out of our job. Yes, we know what is being done to victims like this. They are being silenced, and they just disappear into thin air. They just disappear into thin air. We'll keep following the story, and I hope that, as usual, we don't get excited about something new and forget this one that as this is like a life-threatening situation. We hope that we keep up with that. And Mr. Chris George, are you back? So I move on to something else. Okay, we have one more story on here. I'm not sure what reaction I am expecting from this story, but this young man was not harassed. He was stopped. He was stopped for he was stopped for, okay, he was harassed by the police. Okay, let's hear from him. I mean, it's a video and you hear what he did. Check out what the Nigerian police are arresting a Nigerian for.
What I do get for? What I say I do get now, they say I can't. Then the video means that the video, they say because I do get now. They say make I hit a motor. But what I do? Say I do get, say dead now, I can't now inside for Nigeria now, dead now, I can't. I want video very well, I know they won't go anywhere. See them.
Just go there, no, just go there.
No.
All right, so we've been having reports on the media and being sent to folders. Nigerian police, they are, gradually, but they are back on the streets harassing the youths. This time around, they do not have the tag FSAS on them, but they are still the Nigerian police and they are harassing the youth. And that's just one of a few out there of a group of about 4 policemen about to arrest a man for having Mr. Kennedy. What's your reaction to this? And this is a recent video. Oh dear, Mr. Kennedy, over to you, please.
Yes. Sometimes it's difficult to speak on these issues coming from Africa or from Nigeria in particular. You see, the whole world, the world all over right now, these children, they have this kind of hairstyle. They have different kinds of hairstyle. So I don't know, what has hairstyle got to do with the economy? What has the hairstyle got to do with Boko Haram? What has this hairstyle got to do with banditry and adoptions and kidnappings? There are a lot of issues to be tackled. There are a lot of areas where the police has to go in and give us security in the country. The hair is not our problem. You see, when we were growing up, we had a lot of hairstyle, punk, whatever. We were carving our hairs, different styles. Though it wasn't this kind of Rasta man look like Rasta man style or whatever. But this is what is going on all over the world right now. You see the Japanese people, they will just shave their hair, or the backside, they just shave the backside and they tie the center. You see, it's kind of interesting and it makes them happy. What is wrong with it? Give these children a job. Give these people a job. Give them something to do. Open the schools. Let them go to school. Forget about the kind of hairstyles they have. Why are they harassing this people? You're asking him to get into the vehicle to do what? So that when he gets to the station, you ask him to write a statement. And after the statement, you said it's a bailable offense. He has to come and bail himself with about 30,000 or 50,000 naira. You see, and these people will end up not being prosecuted because there's no crime. He has not committed a crime. Anybody has a right to carry any kind of hairstyle he wants on his head. So what about the women that are carrying braids? Will they be arrested too? What about the women that are putting on human hair and bow straight and all that? Will they be arrested? So any kind of hair somebody is putting on does not affect the Nigerian economy, does not affect the security situation of the country. I think the there's just a breakdown of law and order in the country, and this police for having harassed this guy is supposed to be sued. And when you sue quite number of them, and the police department pays the damages, I think they should be able to talk to their people on how to be sensitized. So that's what I see there. The police has got no business with the kind of haircut the citizens are carrying. It's not their business. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Pansett, please.
All right,
Mr. Pansett, I,
I'm right here.
I, think, I
I
think
was
you
chatting in
posted
the.
them on the comment section.
I know I was over there. So yeah, Mr. Kennedy makes succinct points. But let me first tell you that you have been doing wonderful job here day after day. I don't know how you prepare for this, but it's been magnificent, Miss Emma. And we have to thank you for a wonderful job that you're doing here every night. It's not easy to prepare for these stories and the manner you present them and perception that you have about it. And your comments are just superb. You're very balanced. And so you should be commended for that. And I hope
Very articulate.
very, very. And she's, I call her
Oh, thank you.
cosmopolitan. But
Thank you.
yes, the way I'm going to treat this here is the way I treated the earlier session where we were talking about a member of Congress, member of the National Assembly doing something. And I didn't want to do retail. I want to do it's a holistic approach. We need a country where the president and his staff makes a difference, just like that policewoman who got beat up tonight. That's a president who will have, and he will see that story, and he will make sure that the laws are enforced, that people are protected. That's the kind of country we want. So young people, if you don't want somebody to give you a haircut by his bar or whoever, a rogue police officer, wayward, you have to go out there and vote. Change the country. You have a chance to do that. Let's not do this. Everything is wrong in Nigeria. Everything. There's nothing going the right way. Now, those of us who are putting this effort, like me, it's now 6 in the morning here, 6:30. I've been up because I actually wanted to discuss politics and try to encourage the country to change. It's not going to cost you anything to put that extra effort between now and February to change the country. That president in Nigeria makes a difference in virtually everything you're doing in Nigeria. If you're a youngster trying to do business, you're entrepreneurial, if you're an artist, if you're just somebody who likes your freedom, you want to get out on the streets, have fun, do whatever you want to do, opportunity. Who wins that election is very, very important. You have to do everything to change that government and bring it to a little bit more modern. Somebody like P2B and Baba Ahmed, Dati, the Labour Party, everybody involved there, Patu Tomi and other politicians in Nigeria are going to be able to put in place people with a heart also who are tough, who's been all over the world, and they want to make Nigeria better. The rest of Africa is waiting for us. This is no time for somebody like Tinubu or Atiku. This is a time for somebody like Peter Obi. Would we have preferred even somebody younger? Yes. But Peter Obi, to me, is rounded up. If he gets in there, a lot of things are going to change. There's no reason to nitpick one thing after the other here because everything is wrong. Everything. So I'm urging for those who want state police, which is what we need there, and people who want to be able to just take a drive from one state capital to the other, security. We need that. It's somebody causing all the problems that we're having. It's a group of people. They're not, if you don't change this government, they're going to be there. They're going to come back even worse than it is now. So this is not a joke. This is no time for tribalism, regionalism, religion, whatever. This is a time to put in place a set of patriots who want to bring Nigeria to do the right thing. So let's do that. so that we can then solve all the little issues in between. Like this woman got beaten up, like this guy being violated his basic human rights. There's so many stories like that. Which one you go talk? You know, go talk about the other one now. Yeah, to begin talk about this one means say the other ones they fine now. No, everything is upside down. It's like goons. So please, let's elect the right people in February. This calls for you to give a maximum effort from all of us. Let's get it done. And Emeka, your submission, I sign up to everything you said about both the last episode and this one. They were sound. And as well as Mr. Kennedy, I admire your studio when you were broadcasting from your vehicle there. That look nice. Thank you very much, everybody. I'll see you next time. And thanks, Mommy Diaspora, Bella, Naomi, and everybody else in the chat.
All right, Mr. Princess. You have an amazing day. Thank you for your time on here. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay. All right. Kingmaker, I'm up for you.
Okay, so this is a clear case of profiling, harassment, and abuse of power. So, like we just said in the last stuff. There's nothing wrong with profiling. It's a security training, right? Profiling has to do with, trying to assess the characteristics, attribute of an individual based on his appearance and external behavior, right? So I would say in the terms of the police training that they had, they looked at him, the way he's dressed, his dreads, and they profiled him and they feel, okay, this is an individual that might be the kind of people we are probably looking at that might not want to fit into society. Individuals who tend to behave differently would act differently, like typically, dread their hairs, have tattoos all over their body. It's profiling. It's been done in the United States, and that's why you find there's a high incarceration rate of Black people, and also in the West, because it's called profiling, and they're not looking for ways to try to reduce this biased behavior, right? Now, where the police erred is in the terms of the harassment. You have profiled him. You feel maybe he might be a bad individual, he might be a Yahoo boy, or regardless of the way you profiled him, whatever you think in your mind he might be, you just ask him a few questions just to be sure to understand if he fits into this bucket. And then if you don't have any evidence or whatever, you let him go. Right? Maybe you can say, okay, where are you coming from? Can I see a piece of ID from you? What do you do for a living? This, blah. And if he's able to articulate himself properly with evidence, you let the young man go. But you don't jump the gun to now say, enter into the vehicle. That's harassment. Because one, you've profiled him. You've not asked, you've not even, probably they've not explained to him what they are trying to do. And then they want him to go into their vehicle. No, you cannot restrict his movement. It's if you have not found any evidence in him, what are you arresting him for? What do you want him to do in your vehicle? That's harassment. The police erred in that, and then they abuse of power because they're policemen. They have guns. They're in a position of authority. They're bullying this individual into what they want, and that's clearly wrong. I will also tie it back to the last submission. The culture of the police needs to change. It requires training. It requires retraining, constant training, continuous training, right? They should understand that some members of the society do not want to conform to the norm. Not every young individual, a young man, will want to have their hair cut low. Some will want to braid it. Some will want to appear differently. Some probably are more expressive. Probably they are creatives, right?
Yeah. This was not a problem before. All of a sudden, it became a problem.
It has always been there, right from when right from the 80s, right from the 90s. It's a police training profiling. It has always been there. The problem is now when after you profile this individual, what is your next move? The harassment is not the problem. where you are
No,
not trying to
I'm not sure
extort them.
where I've not seen it as much as, okay, of course I was not around in the 80s, but
Yeah,
I've not seen it as much
it's
as I have right now.
it's
You know,
always
they have
it's
there are some people who they sit them down and they begin to scrape it off actually.
no, that's wrong. That's an abuse of power. That's wrong,
That,
right? You don't
that's
do
of course
what's
what
your
I'm saying.
business.
I've not seen it as much. This is what they do. This is not the first time. I'm saying it is coming back. That's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah,
gradually, but it's coming back.
yeah. It started with the NSAS. You know, it started before the
Yeah.
NSAS. The NSAS protest came in to shine a light on the abuses of the police process and the abuse of power. You know, the extortion, the harassment. You understand? I think they need to learn their lessons. But again, it all ties down to the misbehavior of the police and the abuse of power. And you know, I, I well, there's a rumor that they have to go out to go get money. There's this rumor, right? So I don't want to say it's true because I'm in the
You are
public.
on here. You are on here without a face, right? So there is no
Yes.
identity tracing you back. Do you
No,
really think
no,
that
I
is
like to be factually correct. I like to hold people to evidences. So I will put it as a rumor. I won't say it's an evidence because I'll be honest. Um, uh, no police officer has ever how will I put it? Well, definitely, you still try to tip a few of them maybe when you are going, but there's the rumor that they have to go out to go get money for which trickles up to their reporting officers, right? Their leaders, right? It's a rumor. I won't say it's true, but I know it's a rumor. Um, because I do not have the evidence. There's no wild evidence that I can cite, and I will not want to say that. I stay as objective as I want to be. I think that rumor, it may be the one that is driving them into this bad practice of, if you have profiled an individual and the individual has not given you any cause for an arrest, you do not have any evidence that you think this individual might be a criminal or a mishap, you let that individual go. Why are you stopping that young man from carrying out a lawful activity such as he wants to move? You are even, you are violating his fundamental human rights, his right to movement, which is wrong. And you are trying to arrest a man without telling him why you are arresting him, based on probably his appearance. And it is wrong. There's nothing wrong with profiling. Yes, it might be biased. You have approached him. Can I see a piece of ID? What do you do? Where are you coming from? Where are you going to? What's your occupation? He answers all your questions. You let that young man go. You approach a young lady, maybe standing on the road, dressing skippily. Madam, what are
so?
you doing here?
You make you are saying it is wrong for the Nigerian police to just pick somebody up, throw them in their truck and drive there. You have to let them know why you are arresting them.
Oh, it's completely wrong. Every officer will tell you why they are arresting you. Not only that, they should also have some form of an arrest warrant, right? Yet, but typically,
Why?
if an officer approach you and you have some evidences that contravenes the law, that officer, due to his authority, can arrest you right there on the spot. But if you have profiled an individual and you don't find anything incriminating, can you let that individual go? That you are now subjecting that individual to harassment, taking
All
that
right.
person to locations that it's not appropriate. I think those practices should stop. But again, I would still want to base it on the rumor that they have to make daily remittance to their superior officers. So they must
Okay.
go out, it's like a trading activity. So they must go and trade, make money. It's a rumor. I'm not basing it on any evidence or factual statement, right? It's a rumor that is widely known. So I will keep it as a rumor. So else they should try to do what is appropriate. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Chooks. Let's go. Let's go, Mr. Chooks. How are you doing? Welcome to the broadcast.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon, fellow panelists. Good afternoon, Emma, and all our viewers. Yeah, I just wanna, I just wanna talk about the police and the harassment and the sexual violence, because I would say it's sexual harassment. The issue is, I've had people, making suggestions on how to checkmate the police and all that. But the simple reality is this. I watched a program this morning, right? One of these human rights program this morning, and I saw a police lady who came there. She was jailed for 3 years, even though they went to court. Court asked them to release her, right? That woman, the police refused. It got to the point of meeting both IG, and IG did nothing. So whatever we're saying here, we all know where our problem lies. Our problem lies in the commander-in-chief of Nigeria, okay? Because if the commander-in-chief is decisive in his action, right? You cannot tell me that court give an order to leave somebody. And even that case went as far as the head of the police, of the Nigerian police, and they didn't release the lady. And you're talking about having all kinds of checks around them. We know how it works in Nigeria. They are criminals. They are criminals. I don't know if the IG sent them to rob the masses or it is their own decisions. But one thing we have to establish is Nigerian police are, most of them, not all, most of them are criminals, complete criminals. Because you cannot tell me somebody, I cut my head where I want. It doesn't concern you. If my parents don't have problem with it, who are you? Who are you? Who gave you the right? That is the kind of things you hear from zoo. That is why I don't blame people who call that country zoo. It's very annoying. You go about harassing people. If you watch this program I'm talking about, you will have a different view on all this we are talking about, this sexual harassment on this lady. Because it's happening. This is a tip of an eyes on what is happening in the police force itself. The way they handle people. Once you know one better person, then you are done. You dare not talk. How can we question a lady for not speaking out? If she speak out, first of all, they will sack her from her job. It doesn't end there. Threats upon threats, because this is what they do. I listen to this Brekete family. Let me mention the name. Go and listen to them. You see a number of police that he is fighting for. You see the kind of treatment they are giving to them. And then later you release them to the society like a wild lion. What do you expect them to do? So if we're talking about anything changing, that's why we are advocating the right person to lead the country. Because if you are not performing, you get kicked out, not just kicked out, you get tried. If you found one thing, you go to prison. That's the only way to change Nigeria. Let us not pretend. The only way to change Nigeria is to get the right person who will say, look, I don't want to know who is your godfather. When you found one thing, take him down, take him out. That is exactly what we need to do. That country is becoming a wild west. Because I don't understand. You are harassing ordinary citizens. You are harassing your fellow policemen and women. I mean, when I saw that picture, I was speechless. I came here, I'm at work. I came here just because I saw that police woman, because do your research. Do your research. You understand what I'm talking about. I watched this Brekete family, not just police, including the military. Including the military. That's what we're talking about. All they are animals on top. Because you don't expect them to treat the citizens right when you're treating them the other way round. This is what it is. The problem is the head is rotting. So the whole body is completely gone. That is the problem. And that is why we must advocate to get a right person. Because, I mean, how do we even fathom this? All sectors in Nigeria are rotting. We talk about the woman who accused Abio. We talk about her. What come out of it? Can the president not give an order? Can he not? If he understands that the police cannot do that, can he institute an internal investigation? This is what we're talking about. Thank God that Emeka remembered it, that incident happened and nothing happened till today. And we have a president. And tomorrow he will tell us, oh, he wants women to go far in the kitchen where he put his own wife. That is exactly what we're suffering. That is what we're suffering. That case of Abio.
Talking about being rotten from the top, it was still the president who said that the place of his wife. I don't know if he generalized that to all women out
in
there.
In the kitchen now, if a president wife in this in the kitchen and bedroom, who are you, Emma? Sorry, I'm sorry to say that. Yeah? Yes, that is for you to know the kind of society we are living in. Okay. The society we are living in is the wrong society. Because if a president says that his wife's place is kitchen and the other room, who are the ordinary women on the street? If you understand the true meaning of that, he said, if you understand the true meaning, it tells you why that woman, right, that accused Abio, nobody talked about it till today. Seriously, Emma. Because if the president doesn't believe that that woman's place is in the kitchen or the other room, which is what Abio tried to do, because the other room, which Abio tried to do, the other room, and he see it fit, it's normal. That's why he doesn't even think there's anything wrong in what Abio did. That is exactly why I'm angry. That is exactly why anybody who understands this should be angry. Because if the president cares about the people, cares about women, he will give a presidential order and follow it up, make sure that the result comes out. That is how it is supposed to be to happen. But because we run a society whereby nobody checkmates him, nothing happens, even if he didn't do anything. Next year, he is hoping that he's going to rig his way in. That is exactly why we are talking about the leadership. It's not about the institutions. We have all these institutions that Emeka has mentioned. All these institutions, they are there. But when you go there, you get a phone call from the top. That is what is happening. Let us not pretend. Emeka, you know what we are talking about. You knew that. You knew that. You know that all these institutions you are mentioning, because you said yesterday that you've worked in the government, you knew all these institutions are there. But what happens? That's why I tell you, if you want to know why I'm so angry, go to watch Break the Family. You will see lots of them are there. Lots of them are there. Despite the connection of the Break the Family, some of them he cannot penetrate it. Some of them he cannot penetrate it because the people on top are from Aso Rock. It's not a secret. That man, he exposes them. He knows them. So this, what are we talking about? This is the same reality we are facing. So Ima, it's just a shame. It's just a shame because we are saying it looks simple. Everything about us is just crime. How can a woman, you go to offices, it's the same thing. Emma, you are living there. Am I lying? You go to offices, it's the same thing. Once they approach you, you don't agree. The next thing is either they frame you up, you're a criminal, they put you away for years, put you in prison. Not just that, they sack you from the job. We know, we've seen them. I listen to all these human rights radios. You see a lot of this incident there. So let us not pretend all this fine, IPC, PPP, whatever they call their names, they are there to monitor these people. But I tell you,
just a minute. Yeah, take an interjection, please. Mr. Kennedy, let's have you, please.
Yeah, okay, I wanted to wait till he finishes, but anyway, I just want to say something about the profiling issue that was by Mr. Mecca, King Emeka. I think he's very right to have said, to have used the word profiling, but that is an advanced way of policing, because everybody knows what profiling is. He's talking about this civilized country's way of policing the society. For me here, I've been profiled so many times. At least I've been here for 31 years. I've been profiled more than 30 times. It's very normal that you are profiled, but when you are profiled and they see that you are not culpable, they just let you go. But I want to let my brothers know that this is not, in Nigeria way, is not profiling the police. They are not profiling anybody. They are just extorting. They are just there for extortion. Because if you cannot profile people where there's no database, anybody can have a fake ID card. So if somebody from Akwa Ibom is in Lagos and he has ID card showing that he's from Benin City, how do you profile such people? The police, they know that they are not profiling people. They are just extorting people. They take you to the station and, and you bribe your way out, and that's all. No prosecution, nothing. They are thieves. They are thieves. They don't profile people. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. I thought you had something to say in line to what Mr. Chooks. Mr. Chooks, apologies. Please round
No
up your
worries.
submission so I can move. Okay, I can move on to someone else.
Yeah, so just like I think Mr. Ken also said, you see, when we talk about profiling, right, it sounds so beautiful in the ear. Who is profiling who? Are they who were supposed to be one minister or the other to National Assembly? Don't you see how they profile them? Is that profiling? Even though those who were supposed to go to the to be what is it called, the INEC commissioners and all that. You see what they do? Get up and bow. Is that profiling? I mean, Nigeria is a joke. This is why I said, let us not come here and pretend we don't know where our problem lies. Our problem lies that the number one citizen doesn't do his job. Because all these things we are talking about, how can you send people to a National Assembly for them to profile them so that you can accept them as your minister or this? They just say, hey, get up, bow down, and you're gone. I mean, Emma,
All right.
Nigeria is a joke. Nigeria is a real joke. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay, so King Emeka, I'll come to you in just 1 minute. Apologies, please. Okay, so if you're just joining us, welcome to our news. Welcome to the talk. Please do well to put your mic on mute. Please do well to put your mic on mute. Thank you very much. Okay, so we have this conduct by these police officers, and let's also not act like these police officers fall from the ground, fall from the sky, or they are being uprooted from the ground. These police officers are people who go back home. They sleep with their families. They don't go to sleep with rocks. So how is it that we do not, have these conversations back home with our family members? Madam Rita, I see you. Welcome to the broadcast. There's something Madam Rita said on here, and she said women in our society, they cover up for things. Women in our society covers up things for either fear of being attacked or being labeled destroyer, and or not even being believed. Yeah, I think it still goes under being called destroyer. So women need to be taught how to deal with shame. So, Madam Rita is saying that if a woman can deal with shame, she would be able to conquer so much. And that's also in reference to one of the instances that was used with the woman that got involved with ex-governor Akpabio at the time. All right, thank you very much, Madam Rita. It's good to have you on this broadcast. King Emeka, I wanted to pick on one last topic before we go. Madam Rita, I see you asking what we are talking about. All right, we started on from our parents get it wrong with badly behaved children, and now we moved on to see, for the society, before the society gets all rotten and all of that, it begins with the family. So for us to have a sane society, we must begin by having a sane family. So all of these conversations, discussions are to pick people in different positions, but all of these people are still from the family. How do we correct these things? This police officer, this ASP, his name is out there in the news, we can see it. And I mean, there are people that they have cases like this and nothing is done, it's swept under the carpet, and the family too, they do nothing, they are enjoying the largesses from dirty deals by these people, and they expect us to have a perfect society. These police officers, now look at the one, the ASP that assaulted that woman on the allegation of sexual advances that was turned down. That one belongs to a family. This other one that is harassing a youth out there, I mean, you want to arrest somebody for having dread? That's all? Who is supposed to be talking sense into these people? Where are they coming from? Do they live in the bush? Are they not coming from a family? Do they not have love in their life? I mean, what kind of family do you have? Where are you coming from? You know, you begin to ask all of these questions. Where are you coming from? You just leave your house. I mean, you leave your house with whatever is happening in your house, and you go on to harass somebody that is on dread. You want to arrest somebody that is on dread. What is happening? Are you sick? Are you no, not sick as in an insult, like, are you okay? What are you going through? Is this midlife crisis? We need to be having conversations with our people, our family members that we think that are not acting right. We need to be having these conversations with them. King Maker, please, you have 2 minutes so we can take on one more topic.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad Mr. Kennedy understands what profiling is, right? And he has also used himself as an example where he stays and the number of times he has been profiled. I would say, there's nothing wrong with profiling, but what do you do after you've profiled this individual? It is a security training procedure to profile people based on their mannerism, disposition, appearance, right? Based, there's a database of this, and you compare and say, okay, it's being used in security trainings. But what do you do afterwards? If they don't give you any reasons to doubt, they don't have any incriminating evidence with them, just let them go. But I understand what Mr. Kennedy is saying in the sense that, oh, it's more of an extortion. That's why I said there's a rumor, right? I tied it down to the rumor. So we'll leave it at that. Like, I won't use myself as an example. I've been here for a while. No police officer has stopped me. But just recently, I was driving on the freeway on top speed. And that is not okay. The policeman, I didn't even know the policeman was right behind me. See, when I came out of the intersection and I saw the policeman right behind me, and he signaled and I parked. He came out, after a while. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm a black man. What the hell is gonna happen to me? The luck I had was that there was no alcohol in my system. I didn't consume any alcohol beverages. He came, he looked at me, you understand? He looked at me. And in his mind, I know he just said driver's license. I gave him my driver's license. He went to his vehicle and did the normal search. And he could see that there has been no history of any outlaw, whatever. And he came back. He said, "What's the rush, man?" I said, "Man, I was just listening to my music and I didn't know I was on top speed." I gave him a very ridiculous answer, and he said. And it was on a Friday where people, consume a lot of alcoholic beverages and a lot of accident occurs. You understand? People are behaving abnormally and erratically. You understand? But when he approached me, I could see he was profiling me, right? Based on, okay, he went, looked at my driver's license, my age, background, looked at, okay, no issue. This guy seems to be a standing person in the society. He gave me a ticket and let me be. But for some other individuals, that might not be the case. He might look, okay, is this person acting normal? Is he acting erratic? Those are profiling. But if they don't give you any reason for incrimination or any incriminating evidence, you let them go. Then I also just want to say something. I know Mr. Chooks might not like what I want to say.
But in your case, there was a trigger, and the trigger was driving fast.
Exactly. There will always be a trigger.
that
let
was
me
walking
explain.
and he has. But we watched the video. That dread is neat. He's
There's
not
always a
looking.
trigger. There's always a trigger for
But should that
profiling.
be a problem? But should that be a problem in today's world?
It's everywhere. Okay, I'll give you another example. In California right now, people can actually walk into any shopping complex, take items less or equal to $1,000, and nobody, not even the police, will stop or arrest them. Nobody. Even the owner of the shop can't say anything. And then you look at it and say, what the hell? What's happening here? There are practices, there are behaviors that might be abnormal. In Nigeria, yes, that's the case. We have bad policing, yes. We have police that extort, yes. We have police that profile. Every police officer or security agency conduct profiling. It's a normal behavior. Somebody who's on dreads, because maybe in their interaction with these kinds of individual, they find them to be outlaws most of the time. And I will say another thing. That's another individual who might be in his 40s with dreads, probably in his SUV. The same police officer will start hailing him. Hey, Baba, hey, correct man, you find out something, Roger or smoke. They will not tell him come out. That's profiling too. But this young man probably is in his mid-20s or early 20s with dreads, trekking on the street. They say, this guy, let's see. Yes, it's profiling plus extortion, harassment, abuse of power, right? Those are bad practices in the police. Then again, what I wanted to say, I just want Mr. Chooks to just hold this dearly. I'm not trying to say negative things. We keep throwing and casting blames to the president, right? I agree, the buck stops at the president's table. But there are specific individuals who are responsible, who the president, in his power and authorities, has delegated powers to them as the president, the leader of the country. There is the Inspector General of Police. He is responsible for police officers and largely the crimes, internal crimes within the country. He should be speaking on some of these things, or most of the things that has to do with the police. Before you get to the president, there's also the Attorney General of the Federation, who is responsible in prosecuting cases. And I will tell you guys, there are cases that the Attorney Generals will want to prosecute, and there are cases they might choose not to prosecute. I gave you an example of people who might steal valuable items less or equal to $1,000 in California, and the Attorney General has said publicly, not that we will not prosecute such matters. We will not do that because they feel it is a waste of their time, energy, and resources. So they will pursue.
There's a comment on here by Madam Rita that says that it is because they have a state law that won't allow police to arrest someone who steals from a store. That's regarding that.
It's not just only the state law. Yeah, before the governor has to say, it's the Attorney General of California they've agreed in-house not to prosecute those issues. Even right from when the Black Lives Matter riot was going all around, did they prosecute those guys vandalizing the community, stealing and causing pillages everywhere? You understand? So then again, I also want to go to the Apabio's issue, right? Now, a lot of you might not like this. So it's everywhere in the world. You begin to look at the relationship of power influence dynamics here, right? If someone is considered so valuable to you and may have done something a bit wrong, you might look at it and say, okay, the best way to approach this is, please, sir, just excuse yourself from this place. It happens. You find President Trump giving pardons to people and he's causing an uproar. So these dynamics happen. I just don't want to. Why I'm saying all this is, I've been here for quite a while, and a lot of people have insulted me personally, up to the extent of insulting my mom. Keep insulting me, but I just look at it. I said it comes from a place of one, ignorance, two, lack of exposure. What I want to say is Nigeria is a difficult country with challenges, numerous challenges, huge challenges, right? Every country. I've been privileged enough to stay in different jurisdictions in the world. And I know, and I still monitor them. They have their own challenges. I can tell you from the top of my head the major challenges in the United States, the major challenges in the UK, the major challenges in Nigeria, likewise the major challenges in Ghana. Even for the point that the president of Ghana has to come up and say, this is a huge issue for us at this point in our time. You understand? We have major challenges, but what I want to say, when we want to criticize, that's why I would say I like to be objective. I like to be back with evidence based. Let's not go on sporadic, rants. You understand? Oh, the president this, he's a criminal, he's this, he's that, he's blah. We need to understand some of the responsibilities of the president, that he has delegated powers to specific people. Maybe those people are not doing their jobs.
Yes,
Maybe they are, or they have their own challenges. Yeah?
Please, we have to move on. Please, we have to move on.
No, we can move on. But I just want us to be a bit, express caution or empathy when we want, or probably try to get more.
Can I ask you a question, please?
What do you want to ask me?
Yeah, Emeka. Please, I want to ask you this, yeah? It's two questions, right? One is on Akpabio. Are you saying that what Akpabio did can be excused in any other society other than Nigeria? That is one. Two, are you telling me that hence the president has delegated powers to somebody like the IG, right? He should be overlooked. Look, you as a businessman, right? Because Nigeria is business. Yeah. If you hire somebody to do your business for you and that person is running the business down, are you saying that it is okay for you to allow that person to continue to manage their business? Thank you.
All right, thank you. I will just answer this and then let Ima continue with what you say. Now, with Akpabio's issue, I brought it up. It's wrong. What he did is wrong, right? In different climes, it can be handled probably differently, or nothing can happen. Trump came out when he was campaigning and he said he grabbed someone by the pussy. What happened? He became president. That didn't affect him. So that was why I was saying it depends on your influence and your power, the relationship dynamics between power and influence. With Akpabio, definitely the guy looked at it and said, this is not much of an issue for us. It happens everywhere. Like, okay, Akpabio is still more of an influence to us. We cannot just kick him away. He still has some influence or power in the South. We might need him. It's politics. We might need him. Let's ignore this. Or no, we are not going to ignore this. We are going to go for his head. He can't do this. He's grossly irresponsible. He has abused his power. Let's cut him down. That's the answer to that. Now, your answer to the second question, right? The president, yes, the buck stops at the president's table. But in these cases, when this bad behavior becomes a major nuisance that is causing the brand Nigerian to have a bad name, yes, the president kicks in. But it's expected that people who has the power and authority in their different dispositions or functions should be able to do what they are supposed to do. And I will tell you, I have been privileged enough to meet several Inspector General of Police. Many of them don't even have an idea what goes on around with the local chaps on the road. They don't even have the clue. It is wrong. It is wrong. They should be able to devise some control mechanism and processes in place whereby they can be able to understand what is going on. That was why I'm a big proponent of state policing. I keep saying that because the power and the control is far off. It's too remote. We need some form of more control near home to be able to curb the excesses of the police. So I'm telling you, if the IG do not even hear most of these things, talk more of the president, who is busy doing high-level oversight over the general function of the country. The president don't get to hear a lot of the noises we make. Even if those noises might be magnified, there are people whose job are there to suppress it that the president don't get to hear. Except when maybe he turns on the TV and says, what the hell is going on here? And then those people begin to answer questions.
I'm sorry, I have to cut you right here. And so you've been called out for using the P word. I'm trying to even understand what the P word is, but
sorry about that. I forgot my language. Sorry.
Okay, but could you in the private chat drop what that P word is? I just want for my own
No, no,
knowledge.
there's
Just
no need. It's just for
in the
illustration.
private chat.
There's no need. Don't
But
understand, please.
no, but no, please, for my own education, I would like to know. So, in the private chat, please let me know the word that you use. And thank you, Dr. Gomez, and thank you, Madam Rita, for bringing that to my notice. I'm not. I missed that. I missed out on that. Thank you very much. But King Emeka, please, I'll need you to, recall that back uh, right now, please.
Oh, it's I actually said, oh, it's when I was trying to illustrate it, I forgot
Okay,
that I'm probably on the public
I
forum,
think.
so
All right.
it's not a word to it's basically, so I know I shouldn't be using such foul languages.
Okay, all right, thank you. So, okay, that's as much as we can take on this submission. Thank you very much. Oh, okay, so okay, mommy diaspora have come out to say that I don't want to know. All right, so please don't tell me. Thank you very much, but uh, mommy diaspora, if you say I should not know, all right, I am an okay obedient daughter. I will not want to know. All right, thank you very much. If you're on here, thank you very much. We'll move to the last slide. So this is rather a break. I don't know the things happening in our dear country. Before we go on ahead to blame our government, before we go on ahead to blame my dear boo boo, we have to, look at our own self. These things are being perpetrated by our own brothers, our husbands, our fathers, our uncle, our nephews. So we need to look into ourselves and look at how we can begin to correct, the ills of our society. Let's begin with our own self, with ourselves, with our family. And now this next story is uh more like one of the most heartbreaking stories that well, I don't know, things that are happening are just breaking the heart of Nigerians. We have this story on here, and this story goes on to say that I don't know why it's coming off that way, but here we have three brothers arrested for gang raping their neighbor's 13-year-old daughter. Three neighbors arrested for gang raping their neighbor's 13-year-old daughter. Mind you, there were actually four that gang raped this young lady of 13 years old. But three was caught, apprehended. That's the face of the shameless young men that did that. One is on the run. These are the three that has been arrested. Now tell me, where do we begin in things like this? These are the things we are talking about, correcting the ills, starting with our family. Are you saying that these men here are too grown that we cannot have correction, with that they cannot be corrected? As I am, there are things I cannot even wear when I know that I'll be meeting with my father. I mean, I have my own family. I am grown, but there is still that fear and respect. So how is it that ah, is it that people are not playing? Mr. Pansat was talking about those, who have not done right by their children. They should go and apologize and make amends. Are these the kind of people? How did we get to this place? Who are the ones failing in these things? I mean, I'm saying this again, for us to have a messed up society, it is because of the people in it. If we, with all of us like this, migrate to another land, it is still and have another name, it is still going to be business as usual because of the kind of people that we are. And then you hear people say things like Nigerians are not good people, Nigerians are wicked, or Nigerians are this, Nigerians are that. And using myself as a yardstick, and I ask, is that true? Because I am not selfish, I am not wicked. I mean, these people had a problem with the girl's father, and they went on to meet the girl halfway, and took her away. They took her away after slapping her, took her to the river, and that was where all four of them proceeded to raping her. All four of them proceeded to raping a 13-year-old girl. All right, so we'll be catching submission real quick, and okay, we'll be catching submission real quick on this story. Mr. Kennedy, I'll be starting with you.
Thank you very much. Once again, you see, like I think it's King Emeka or Pastor that said, "You not fit deal with one without the other one." It's still the same problem, this meta problem. Okay, let us now profile these three men or the four of them. One, these men that committed this heinous crime, are they students? Are they, do they work in industries or ministries? And what are their various ages? What do they do? And how were they brought up? You look at their family background, what is actually happening in their lives that will, militate to raping a 13 years old child is just like a baby. 13 years old, 1 3. It's just like a little child. So I don't think that 13 years old probably has something on her chest or, down below, So what attracts men from, what is the attraction from this 13 years old? And not actually they were attracted because they had a problem with the father. They wanted to probably punish the father by taking this child to the river. Look at the stress they have taken this little child through. They have taken her through a lot of, a lot of trauma. They have taken her, and throughout her life, she got to live with this kind of trauma throughout her life. They were not considerate. They were not considering what they were going to take this child through. So all they were thinking was, how to punish the father and themselves having satisfaction. But I don't think they actually had the satisfaction because 3 men or 4 men standing, getting taking off their clothes and dealing with this little girl of 13 years old, and the girl will probably be crying throughout the ordeal. So you now begin to imagine what kind of stress, what kind of meta, decadence is going on in our country. That's why I say let us look at the profile of these children, these men. I don't know if they are men or boys. Are they students? Did they go to school? Even if they are not students or they went to school, what is their level of education? So, what do they even think about the repercussion before getting into such an ordeal with this little girl? So it still boils down on the government and the parenting. How did the parents take care of them when they were growing up and all that? Did they have a lot of tutorials about, not committing crime and the repercussions and the gravity of the offense if you commit such crimes and all that? So, well, I pity for these people because they are going to be in deep trouble. Now it's on the internet. They have to be prosecuted and they'll be taken into custody and prosecuted and they face the wrath of the law. So that's what I say. I quite sympathize with the parents of the girl and the little girl that will go through this throughout her life. She will go through this stress and trauma throughout the whole rest of her life. So I sympathize with her a lot. May God stand with her to be able to take care of this because women that have been raped, they now are afraid of men. They wouldn't believe whatever men are going to say, and they are readily angry when they are in the presence of men. So how, you see, this guy is supposed to be paid a lot of money for her to survive, either by the people that have raped her and the government. They're supposed to be paid damage, and even the parents too supposed to be paid a lot of damages. But anyway, this is our country, nothing worse. You'll find out tomorrow these guys will be on the street, boasting that they were let go by the police. So let's see what happens. This is a very serious crime. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that. And this is by Rita Adams. She says the issue is our Nigerian laws are not seriously implemented as it should be. In a sane society, this will be labeled as sex offender for life. And yes, I was coming to ask my panelists that how do we begin to correct the ills? How do we begin to correct this from starting with the family units? That will be the our final submission on this broadcast. Okay, King Maker, let's have your submission to this
All
story.
right,
If
thank you. I think Mr. Kennedy has said some things, and I don't want to repeat or reiterate most of the things he has said. What I would say is that there will always be misfits in the society, right? Regardless of where they may reside, whether in the West, in the East, or in Sub-Saharan Africa, you will always find misfits. Those who will not want to obey the law, those who will want to infringe on the rights of others. And that's why you have criminal codes or penal codes that are made to address such kind of issues. Or what these individuals have done, these boys, I think is clearly wrong. Is probably, that's I want to take this from a holistic point of view. It's sad, but these are the ills that would always continue till maybe these individuals begin to see that there's a wrong in it. Probably they would be prosecuted and taken to jail to face the time. I also saw a case which blew my mind, because it had to do with someone who is a lecturer who was involved in going to assault a student, causing bodily harm, undressing this teenager because the teenager had an issue with the daughter. I was like, how would this man who is supposed to be an educator, not only an educator in a higher institution, be involved in family feud? To up to the point you are trying to naked someone, and I understand the police has taken up this case. Also, what I want to say is that there will be people, like I said, society misfits who will not want to comply with laws, rules, and regulations, who want to infringe on other people's rights. That's where the police, if someone infringes on your rights, maybe must have done you harm, you can escalate this issue to the police and they will take it up, right? And either it's going to be a criminal case, or if it's a civil case, you can address this issue in the court, right? There will always be these issues. It's not that it will happen. It happens everywhere. Nigerians will always be the ones that will commit the crime. We won't have in a society, we won't have maybe Ghanaians coming in, large proportion of them coming to perpetrate crime. It's going to be your neighbor, right? Who you stay with, those who are close to you, that would be the ones to perpetrate things that are not right. Just like even in the United States or even in Canada, you find out that you have these black on black crimes. Black people, because of where they are, they will be the ones to perpetrate the crime against those who are close to them. So it's a sad situation. We would want a society where people would not want to create nuisance and infringe on the rights of others. But unfortunately, these are things that happens in every society. But we do have corrective measures in place, like the police, like the courts, like prosecutors who will take up all these cases to serve as a detriment to others not to get themselves involved. There was, when I was in Nigeria as a young man, right, and there was something someone told me that really, really changed my mindset. And he said, most of the crime, I would take Lagos for instance, because that was where I stayed. Most of the crimes committed in Lagos are perpetrated on the mainland. Most of the crimes. And he told me probably 95% of the crime. And I looked at him, that has never occurred to me. When he said that, I dwelled on that statement and I said, this man is right. Most of the crimes, especially those reported, are perpetrated more on the mainland. Why? Because
what kind of crime are you talking about? And when you say mainland, which axis are you talking about?
Oh, Lagos is divided by the Lagos, the island and the mainland. And what I see in that aspect is the haves and the haves not. Huh?
The entire mainland.
Yeah, the entire mainland, the haves. So I look at it from the point. That's why I said that statement dwelled on me, because it has to do with the proportion of income.
What kind of crime are we talking about here?
Most of the crimes, I'm not saying crimes don't happen on the mainland, on the island, but most of the crime, carjacking, kidnapping, murders, domestic violence, rape. Most of them
so
are
every kind of crime out there.
Huh?
So every kind of crime out there.
So in the police, right?
Yeah.
Okay. In the police, right? You would, I don't know, you can try it out. You can go to. I don't think the local police stations would have that before their vicinity. I think you would appreciate it more if you go to the zonal office, or if you go to the state's headquarters. They have the database of crimes being reported, right? You get to see it, and I did that, and I saw it. Most of the crimes, not that crimes are not being perpetrated on the island, but most of the crimes in Lagos are perpetrated on the mainland. So if you look at it from an overview or from a high level view, you will see that this has to do with the haves and the haves not. So, and when he said that, at that point, I was staying on the mainland, I had to move from the mainland to the island. And when he said that, I was now personally reviewing things. I have been shot on the mainland, tried to be carjacked twice. Shot twice when I mean those street robbers, coming on when there's traffic, they want to take things. And I've been logged and I said, this man is right. I need to get the hell out of the mainland, because that's where you find a huge proportion of Nigerians in Lagos State that are poor. Poverty and crime go hand in hand.
Crimes are being perpetrated by poor people.
Poverty and crime go hand in hand. I go anywhere in the world, look at the database. The poor cities are where the crimes are perpetrated the most. Even in the United States, in Chicago, you go to the inner cities, that is where the crimes are being perpetrated the most, because those inner cities are poor. You go to California, similar situation. Even here, in Canada, in Ontario, in Toronto, you go to Jane and Fitch, that's one of the poor places. Public housing, people on welfare benefits. That is where you find most of the crime being perpetrated. Poverty and crime is correlated. It might not be the causation, but it's correlated. You find people who are poor perpetrating most of the crimes. And when those who are doing well...
Please wrap up your submission so we move on to someone else.
So when you find people who are doing well, you find out less of the crime. You find those areas you don't find more crimes in those areas. That is why you find some people, especially, when they see a particular set of individuals coming into their environment, they will shift base and move somewhere else. You find most that the suburbs are very, very quiet, clean, no issues, neighborly friendly. Everybody have their own activities and doing their own thing. So I don't know where that crime is being perpetrated, but if it's in Lagos State, I'll tell you it's on the mainland. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Which one are you talking about? The one of the four men?
Yeah. Those guys. I don't know if it's in Lagos State. I will really tell you it's on the mainland. And if it's not in Lagos State, it's probably in one of the states where the poverty is really high. So just to wrap up, sorry.
Hiyemeka will not answer you. Someone else come up.
Just to add something. I'm not trying to take a dig at poor people, right? But what I would say, we are all still talking about family values. Understand? We all start from somewhere. So in this respect, the focus should be on how do I change my circumstances, right? If you are in a poor neighborhood, your objective should be, how do I get the hell out of this place and go to somewhere that I think will be okay for me and live safely, right? So you don't continue to live in a poor community and you expect the best from it. Definitely you are going to get crime.
All right, Hiyemeka, thank you very much. We still have on here Mr. Chooks. Mr. Chooks, let's have your submission, please.
Yeah, thank you once again. I think the last two speakers has done justice to this very one. And I just want to add that, one of the issues we're finding in our society today is lack of database. When this kind of thing happens where I live today, they will arrest the people, profile them, know if they have a history of this kind of offenses. And if they do, it becomes a greater punishment for them. And if they don't, like I think one of your, I think one of the contributors in the chat said it, that they're gonna be put on a sex offenders register. That is the work of a database. Because you have to know individuals for you to even fight crime. That is one thing I think Nigeria is lacking heavily. And with Pantami and his name, I don't understand what they're doing with that. Because if that name is working, all these people stashing money away and all kinds of crime, it's easy to find. Because you use for example, now you use your NIM or what is it called, the other one, BVN, to do your banking and all these things. Still, all these crimes are happening because nobody, that database, is corrupt. If at all we have one, because it's for these people. Okay, I give you an example where I'm living today, like the kind of example Emeka gave earlier by the prosecutor not wanting to prosecute all these petty crimes. What they do here is they get that, right? They caution you. And that caution means there are some certain things you have to forfeit. That's the kind of job you can never do. For example, now, if you're aspiring to be a nanny, if you're aspiring to work with children, if you're aspiring to work with elderly people or those who are one way or the other vulnerable, you're not allowed to do that because of your past. So if you have database, including education, that's kind of crime you commit. No university will take you. Okay, so if we mean to fight crime, we need to think about our database, because it's the beginning of crime fighting. And this database we're talking about, we need to reject Nigeria, because I mean, if you born a child today, nobody cares if you register that child or not. It has to start, because all this crime. I mean, I've had a case I've seen on social media where this kind of crime happened. Guess what? The police officers are the one advising the parents of the child raped to go and settle with these individuals. Ima, if it's not happening in Nigeria, you tell me. This is, I mean, oh God, these are the kind of things, when I see it, I know it. We are very, very far. We are very, very far. This kind of case, police will tell you to go and settle with that family. Even in the case of a murder, somebody being murdered, the police will tell you, go and settle with the family, and that will be it. And guess what? It is poverty. You don't do that kind of a thing to me, and you tell me to go and, to my family member, and you tell me to go and settle. No. Even though I know it might be difficult for me to go through the court process because of the way it's structured. So the problem here is with sincerity. With sincerity, we need to start, both as an individual, both as government, both as everybody, we need to start changing our behavior. Because if for example, now this my family member is involved in this, I wouldn't even put my penny to settle. Settle what? Because if you do that, what you're doing is to encourage that person to continue. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you that has come out for us to have this talk on how to reform the society by starting with our family. Bella Naomi, where are you hearing black and white television? I don't know. I did not hear any black and white television. All right. This is from Michael says, like you left Nigeria for Canada. I guess, Mr. Emeka, because Nigeria is failed state, but you are still defending the government. Okay. You wish you leave Mr. You wish you leave King Emeka. All right, thank you very much for today. Thank you. Have had one of
let me correct that impression, right? I'm not defending the government, right? What I would do is, where criticism is required, I'll criticize the government, especially when they've done something wrong. When to shower praises, I will shower them praises, because you have to balance things right. You just don't go far off. Yes, there are challenges, but you can still see some light. The government doing certain things right. You shower them with praises so that they can be encouraged to do more and move to do the right thing. When there are criticism, you criticize them hard. That is life. You can't keep criticizing someone, even to the point you are blind to the fact that they are doing something right. And that's where I find it very, odd. You must balance the equation properly. Shower praises when it is appropriate and criticize when they've done the wrong thing. Things cannot go. Definitely, in every society, things cannot always go one way. Things will, there will be challenges, there will be good times, there will be bad times. But you must not say, oh, this government is bad, where you can clearly see that the government has signed contract with Siemens, and by 2023 they are going to add 25,000 megawatts into the distribution of power. That's something you need to acknowledge them for. Or they have, the government is awarding corner and they are building rice mills.
Right,
So
right.
I'm a very objective individual. I'm
Thank
not
you.
someone who is going to be doing. No, I'm not that poorly exposed. No, hell no.
All
Mrs.
right, thank you
Mrs.
very
Emma,
much.
Mrs.
Thank you
Mrs.
very
Emma,
much.
I'm sorry to interject. I'm sorry. King Emeka may have defended the government in the past, but for today, his intellectual disposition is second to none. He has not defended the government. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much for that. Also, this is in Mommy Diaspora's words, in words, not in voice, in words. She says, encourage your friends and family members to go collect their PVC and vote wisely. The only way we will be victorious come 2023 is by using our PVC for Peter Obi. Don't give shishi, but do the needful. All right, and that's in Mommy Diaspora words. So please, do well to get your PVC. For those that are yet to talk to your people to go get their PVC, that's the whole point at the end of the day. That's the entire point. That's the entire point. So do well to get your PVC. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Turn on your notification bell. Like our every broadcast. Yes, your likes helps with visibility. This conversation should not be for just you and I. Allow it to travel. Give it wings. So please like this broadcast. Please like this broadcast. Thank you very much. To my amazing panelists, we've come to the close of today's broadcast. Thank you so very much to each and every one of you on here. The ones that has left, thank you very much for being on here. But please, I'd like your 1 minute submission to be centered about, we humans, Nigerians, we the human beings that are, still being used to propagate this unbelievable things happening. A word for that family that, one of the 4 rapists is from a family. That's if not even 2 of them from one family. So please, the submission should just be centered around people who are still living a carefree life and damaging the society for the rest of us. Thank you. Mr. Kennedy, sorry. Mr. Kennedy,
Okay.
please.
Okay. Thank you very much. There's an adage that says an idle mind is the devil's workshop. Our youth should be gainfully employed. They should be engaged in one way or the other. When somebody is at home doing nothing, a lot of things, a lot of issues, negative issues, comes to play, and they are forced to go and commit one crime or the other. So the government should do its best to, establish jobs, a lot of jobs, or provide enabling environment for citizens to establish jobs and opportunities for the citizens. For the citizens, you don't have to say because you don't have a job, you go out and start committing crime, because there are repercussions for all these crimes. And parents should make sure they are able to do the normal parenting of their children, so that their children don't become wayward and become impediments to societies. I think everything has to go around me, you, and everyone has a responsibility to shoulder. We have to be our brother's keeper. Even help the government to, like the security agencies will say, you see something, you say something. Yeah, you see, situations that are, very, very unhealthy, you report to the government. The government too should use the intelligence to work and profile solutions to what is going on in the society. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. King Emeka, and our host, our beautiful host, who has been very, very articulate. We thank you for being able to take us this far. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Amen. Thank you very much, Mr. Kennedy. It's always a delight to have you on here. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your night, Mr. Kennedy. All right, Kigemaker. Okay, Kingmaker, let me know when you are ready for us. But before then, I am giving a special shout out to Mommy Diaspora and to Naomi Bella for yabbing me on the comment section. It's okay, no problem. And I'm giving a special shout out to Madam Rita for showing me some love. Thank you very much. Thank you to each and every one of you, to the amazing gentlemen on here who has been filled with nice words. Thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you. It's amazing. Yes, I do love each and every one of you. Thank you very much. King Emeka, do I still have you or not? Okay. Thank you to each and every one of you that has been with me on this broadcast. Thank you very much. I can't wait to see you tomorrow. I hope to bear good news tomorrow during our newspaper review. So if you are yet to fall in love or join us for our newspaper review live, please take out time, 10 a.m. Nigerian time, every day, Monday to Saturday. I am right here for you. I dare for you. I see to it that I canvas and I scrape the internet to make sure that we have the newspaper review on here. So please take out time. Let's talk about this. On the newspaper review, we get to see new laws that are about to be implemented. We get to see the one that is just dropped on us. Bam! They don't even ask for national conversation. They just drop it on us. But then we get to see what's happening, what has missed our eyes over time. We get to see. So please, the newspaper review, that broadcast is very important. It shows us, or it lets us know what's up, and it also keeps us abreast with what is happening in our dear Obodo, Nigeria. So thank you to those that has also lectured me today. I have indeed learned some things from you people today. Thank you very much. Let's see what's on here on the comment section. Okay, Mommy Diaspora says, my sweet, beautiful, darling Ima, we love, Abasimi. All right, okay, so I am just going to take myself on my heart and go love on the comments from Mommy Diaspora. Thank you so very much. I'll see you tomorrow. Please stay safe. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.